What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live here on a Thursday. It is the final episode of Blazers Uprise Live before the preseason kicks off on Monday. But will those games be televised? We're going to have to talk about that. Unfortunately, it's another television broadcast thing, Eric. Hate talking about it, but we got some more news, and it's never good news in regards to broadcasting or television and this new TV deal. So we get to talk about that today. We get to talk about some of the buzz around training camp, which is fun. We're gonna talk some Shade and Sharp, and quick shout out to Chris S with the $5 dono before we went live. He says Sharp hype season. Thank you, Chris, for the $5 dono. Yeah, there's a lot of hype around Shade and Sharp. I had a tweet that kind of talked about this past off season and just thinking back, and it's interesting. We're going to talk about that, though. I'm not going to spoil it yet. And then that's pretty much all we got. So Eric, what's going on, man?
Not too much. Just want to say hi to Blazers 510 who reached out to me on Twitter and just told him to say hi next time he was in chat, so it looks like he's here, so hello.
That man got himself a shout out.
Yep.
Awesome. Hopefully everybody's having a good night, a good Thursday night. As far as, let me just start with this. As far as preseason postgame shows, I know I said that they were going to be on Blazers Uprise Live here on the second channel. This season I might do them on the main channel because honestly, the main channel needs some help. If you search Blazers Uprise on YouTube, Blazers Uprise Live comes up before Blazers Uprise. This channel comes up, like, this channel is performing better in the YouTube algorithm than the main channel. So I think the main channel might need a boost. I will tweet out whatever, we're doing, and you guys should be subscribed to both channels, and it won't be an issue. Just wanted to toss that out there. So that's something that I'm considering. Normally we do them over here on the second channel, and then just leave preseason videos on the main channel. But I think the main channel needs a little bit of help right now. So other than that, I think that's pretty much it. So let's talk about broadcasts, Eric. Preseason broadcasts. It sounded like at first there was going to be no local broadcast, but that's not quite the case. What information do you have on that?
Well, apparently only the October 4th game against Utah and the October 11th game against Golden State will have TV coverage. The other three games will be radio only.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like that at all. I mean, it doesn't surprise me one bit. But we've heard nothing for years about how they're trying to gain Seattle market, and they're trying to, they're going to move the team to Seattle someday, right? They're setting up to do that. It's weird that the game on Monday is in Seattle. You'd figure there's a lot of buzz. Root Sports broadcasts in Seattle.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have that game on your local Seattle-based network? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think about is maybe it interferes with baseball, with the Mariners.
It probably does, but that happened
another channel
several times last year, and they just moved it over, the Blazer game, to Root Sports Plus or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, on October 3rd, the Mariners play at 6:40. So they didn't want to put it on the Root Sports Plus channel for some reason, which is it's just ridiculous, man. Like, this TV deal has not gone well for the Blazers. It just hasn't. It absolutely has not. But that's why they have the second channel that you can watch the Blazers on when the Mariners are playing, okay? And, I'm a huge Mariners fan, so I get it, right? And the Mariners, especially in the midst of a playoff run, hopefully they can close the deal because they haven't been playing well lately. They're actually in extras right now. But, I mean, this just goes back. I talked about this last stream, Eric, and I didn't plan on talking about this again, but this just goes back to where teams just need to have their own way of broadcasting games somehow. Through YouTube, through whatever. Like, in a way that makes sense financially, because this whole system with regional sports networks, it's shown that it's not the best system. and you have Portland that has consistently gotten screwed. Root Sports is on nothing. You can't watch Root Sports on Xfinity, on the Xfinity streaming app, unless you're in your own house, which is ridiculous. Like, it's just a bad deal, and now it's like you get robbed of potentially watching preseason games, which there's going to be a Clippers broadcast, so there will be ways to still watch. It's just not, I don't think I can publicly advocate for them. You know what I mean?
Well, I will, because it's ridiculous that we pay for a service that has the local broadcast channel, and I still have to illegally stream games, and that doesn't make any sense. Brandon suggested getting a free 7-day trial of League Pass. I mean, well, one, using that up for preseason seems kind of a waste, but two, it's going to be considered a local broadcast, so it's going to be blacked out on NBA.
If there's no local broadcast, is it still considered a local broadcast?
Yeah, because it's a home game technically for Portland. So, yeah, I believe it'll still be blacked out for Portland if you live within 35 miles of the stadium. So
it's just bad. You have this offseason, you have this brand new team, a lot of hype around the team, a lot of excitement going into next season. You started off with you guys can't watch the first game. That's how you kick things off. You just kick the fans in the nuts, basically. Like, all this excitement, we've been waiting all offseason. It's the longest offseason in a couple of years, right? And you finally, after a terrible tanking season, which was no fun the last 3 months of the year, we haven't had fun basketball in 8 months? 7 months, I guess, was the 4-game winning streak. 7.5 months. That's the last time we had fun basketball here in Portland. All this excitement, yes, is a preseason game, but I don't think you're a diehard Blazer fan if you don't want to watch the preseason game to see how Shaden Sharp looks, Jabari Walker looks, to see Jeremy Grant in a Portland uniform, to see what sets they might be running. They're probably not going to give everything away, but still, there's a lot of storylines going into this year, and it starts all in preseason, seeing if the team looks ready and seeing how the chemistry looks. There's so much to look for in preseason, man. I know the games don't count and you can't read too much into it, but there's so much to look for. So the fact that you can't even look for it locally in the first game because you just can't watch it is extremely frustrating. So me and you will find a way around it, and we'll still do a post-game show for it. Maybe we need to do a watch party for it or something, because people can't watch. I don't know. If we do, we'll let you guys know on Discord, and I'll post a new link in the description because I know that one's broken. We'll let you know on Discord and Twitter. It's just super frustrating because there's been a head of steam of excitement, and then it's this.
Yeah, they're just going to say it's preseason. They didn't think anyone would care. But like you mentioned, there's a lot of seeming buzz right now, especially around some of the young guys who should get minutes in this game, right? At least more so than once the regular season starts, theoretically. Yeah. And then also, it's just cool to watch games, whether they're preseason or not, in places they don't normally play in right now. Unfortunately, there's not a team in Seattle, so I want to see how that new arena looks on TV, with all the changes they made to what used to be known as Key Arena. What is it now? Climate Pledge Arena or something like that. I want to see how that looks, how the new arena looks on TV for an NBA game and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of a bummer that, Travis does a great job on the radio, and I'll get to a comment he had about Shaden Sharp, because apparently he was able to watch practice yesterday. But it's just, I don't want to listen to a preseason game on the radio. It's just
yeah, and I can't. I'm going to be talking to Travis soon. That's all I'll say. But as far as your first comment of that response, if they really say that they didn't think fans would care, I'll be pissed if anyone in the organization says that. What? You don't realize you have diehard fans here in Portland? You don't know what this fan base is? Your own fan base, you don't know what it is. It's diehard fans that would want to watch a preseason game. If you are that out of touch with the fan base, which honestly, Eric, they might be based on prior things that have happened, but if they think that we don't care, That's an insult to us, man. Like, as a fan base, this fan base is one of the more diehard fan bases in the league. So they'll watch a freaking preseason game. Maybe the people up in Seattle that maybe will watch a few regular season games a year, yeah, maybe they won't. The problem is that's kind of who they're going after with the Root Sports deal and that sort of thing, and trying to tap into the Seattle market. But you would think, I mean, it goes back to, you would think they would showcase the Seattle game then. So it's just sad, man. It's just sad. So I'll watch a Clippers broadcast somehow, and it's just frustrating that I have to do all that.
Yep, absolutely. I don't know. I mean, is it really that hard to have a TV package that has all the games, whether they're preseason or not? I mean, I don't feel like it is. And that game, the one against, I forgot what the name of the team we're playing. We're playing like an international team or something. One of the games, and that there won't be another team's local feed to watch for that, so we're kind of out of luck for that one.
Which game did you say that was?
The one against the Israeli team or whatever. That
Maybe we go to
it.
Go to it and do a live watch party from the stands.
I could I can go to any of these games. Well, not the Seattle one, but any of the home games I can go to. But
I wonder.
I think those are the two games they're showing on TV, other than that one. Right?
I mean, I don't want to go to Maccabi freaking Haifa. You know what I mean? But I wonder how illegal it would be to stream the game from the stands if there's no stream of it.
I'm sure it's still probably illegal somehow, but yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I'm not gonna risk that. So I mean, I guess if we can't watch it, I guess no post game show for Maccabi Haifa. I always hate when they play an international team, man. I get it's cool for the international team, but yeah, you might be able to see like a in arena. People can get like in arena feeds somehow. So there might be a way to watch that game, but if there's no way, like, we're probably not doing a post-game show for that, FYI. But, yeah, no, it just sucks, man. I'm tired of talking about this type of stuff. I mean, it just, dude, like, the more and more this type of stuff happens, the more and more I wish the Blazers YouTube channel just use channel memberships with YouTube to broadcast games to channel members, so you could go and pay $10 a month. That needs to be the future, and YouTube can get their small percentage. You know, they already have the system set up in place. Everything's set up for that. If teams just like the Blazers would broadcast to their YouTube channel instead of to Root Sports. It's probably easier for them to broadcast to their YouTube channel, man. Like, you could, like, and you get YouTube in on it. They could probably do some cool features. You'd have a live chat potentially that you could turn on and off. Like, yeah, that's what the future needs to be. I've said that a million times. It needs to be YouTube or something where teams control their own broadcasts, and you pay a certain amount per month to watch a specific team, and then it's like, instead of League Pass, you just pay for other teams, you know, the teams you want to watch. You just do it that way.
Rip City Radio was the people who brought this information to us again. So, yeah, I don't know how we can sick them on the case.
Yeah, I trust, I trust their information on this, absolutely.
Well, considering they're the radio home of the Blazers.
Yeah, like, exactly. So...
Mom, what's the date of that game? I know she's going to it, so
she should just do the post-game show.
Because if it's Thursday, we could just do kind of like our regular show / talk about what we didn't get to see in the game. Off the box score. I don't know.
Yeah, and I can still go to my rec league because I got rec league on Thursdays. So
it's on Thursday. So
yeah, so I'll just go to my rec league and I'll play hoop, man, and have about as many people watching me as people that will be able to watch that game on TV. Anyway, let's move on. I don't even. It's just such a bummer, dude. Like, it's such a bummer. But as far as buzz coming out of training camp, it sounds like there's a lot of excitement for someone, Eric.
Yeah, and that someone is Shaden Sharp. Apparently, he's just wowing people with his athleticism. And the aforementioned Travis Demers had a comment earlier that said, I watched him for 4 hours yesterday. There's no con. The athleticism is insane. The skill is there. Nobody has seen him in a game, so he clearly has some work to do like all rookies do. I don't know when, November, March, next year, ... But he is going to be an impact player in the NBA.
See, like a quote like that will get people hyped, but it's like that's why we drafted him at 7. You know what I mean? Like, because he's a freak athlete and because he has like a super high ceiling and some skill. Mm-hmm. Like, yep. I mean, you don't want to hear negative things about him, but that doesn't surprise me at all. Like, yeah, that's Shaden Sharp for you.
Yeah, and I mean, multiple people, Ant, Nas, Dame, Chauncey have all been raving about him as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good to hear. Like, here's the thing: I did a player preview on Shaden. I am not. There's no way I'm disappointed this year in him unless he's just like the worst player to ever touch an NBA court ever, or which is just not going to happen, or if he gets hurt, obviously, which is out of his control. I don't have expectations. Like, it's a situation where the dude didn't play in college and, you know, has had limited reps, has a ton of natural talent, but there's things that he's going to have to learn. And, you know, like on the defensive end, man, you have this dude coming in, like he's going to have to think about where to be, and it's not going to be as natural to him. Whereas for veterans that are good defensive players, it's natural. Like, they know where to be. They can see plays developing, like, while they're developing. Whereas for a rookie, especially one who didn't play in college, everything is going to be more reactionary, like, oh, this happened. Mm-hmm. I need to be here. And, like, taking the time to have to process that for a guy like him is going to make him probably slow to spots on the defensive end. And maybe slow to make the right cuts on offense and make the right decisions. And, like, that type of stuff is going to take some time. So even if he doesn't end up playing, like, he will get that experience in practice. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's like, if he doesn't play, he's still going to be developing. Like, there's this notion that you have to play him to develop him, and I don't think that's the case. I think that practice will be beneficial for him. But, I mean, dude, if he comes out here and he earns minutes, that's awesome. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard this, but the Blazers posted some little minute blurb of him talking about his experience so far at training camp earlier today.
Yeah.
And he sounded like a different person than his press conferences. Like, he was talking.
Oh, you're going to make me want to listen to it. What was that on?
They posted on their Twitter 12 hours ago.
I'm going to have to watch that at some point.
Maybe we could just play it on here.
I could play it on here.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying.
Oh, it was like a joint. It was one of those. You know how you can do dual tweets now or something. It was
dual tweets.
It was both Portland Trailblazers and Casey Holdall.
What the hell is a dual tweet, Eric? How are you going to tell me something about Twitter that I don't know?
I don't know. I think it's like brand new. I don't know. So like we could post like Blazers Uprise and Tory Jones together or something, I think now. I don't know how you set it up or whatever, but
yeah, what? I don't Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I can just play the audio. So I'll just play the audio right now. You won't be able to hear it, Eric, unfortunately, but
I'll just play it at the same time.
Yeah, all right. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
First couple days was pretty solid. Got to know the sets and everything, got to compete. So, I mean, first day in the books was pretty good. The info that they give us, offense and defense, you know, I feel like I pick up things pretty easy. So, you know, I just got to go through it 1 or 2 times and I should be good. The speed at first was fast, but now that, you know, we gone 5-on-5 a couple times, you know, it's starting to slow down and everything. So just getting used to the sets and, you know, where to be on the court, it's just slowed down. So yeah, they're getting to know how I play and how I like to play, where I like the ball, and same with me, you know, to them, knowing where they like to play, how they play, and just, you know, where they want the ball at times on the court. I like to, attack the rim, force the defense to really guard up and play defense, try and draw some fouls. Also, get my teammates involved. And then on defense, just, help my teammates however I can, whether that's being helped, shrink the court, and just switch 1 through 5.
Dude, that dude is just nervous in front of a camera.
I know.
Like, that dude, yeah. I mean, dude, he's like talking so much more confidently. You know what I mean? Like, people are still, I think, reading too much into the interview thing, because this dude is just talking to Casey without a camera on him, right? So it's like more natural, more comfortable. So, yeah, like that's no, that's cool to hear, man. I mean, he's definitely not that like shy or that quiet.
Right.
It's a dude who didn't play in college, didn't get to interview, that sort of thing. So now he has. I don't know, man. Like I don't know. That's cool.
The Mariners won, by the way.
Yeah, no. I'm like trying to focus on what I'm saying. I see Mariners win. Our magic number is 1, so that's cool, man. Yeah. Who hit the walk-off? Chat. Let me know who hit the walk-off. Who clutched up?
Thank
goodness we didn't lose to the Rangers again. Anyway, go ahead.
I do find it funny that the game is slowed down for him on the second practice. Whatever, like, come on now. But everything else, yeah, I was very encouraged listening to that this morning.
Yeah. I mean, JP, cool. Thanks, chat. I'm hyped about it. Sorry, that was bad timing. But Dame said he picked up stuff pretty fast. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be a situation where just like you can't base too much off of interviews in the pre-draft process. Right. You know.
Yeah. I mean, some people just have that you know what I mean? And some people are just good right away. I don't know. Because
I made that mistake with Anthony Edwards in some of his interviews before the draft, were head scratching and kind of eyebrow raising, like, what? And I mean, look at him now. So I think like him, and then I think with Shaden, just learning not to read into anything they say in the pre-draft process. I mean, these guys are young, right? They maybe don't have media training or that sort of thing, and just really don't want to say the wrong thing and aren't confident yet being interviewed. Or I mean, Anthony Edwards just doesn't care. He just doesn't give a what. So he just says whatever, and sometimes it comes back to bite him, and sometimes he says some stuff that's not good,
some
right?
Pretty inappropriate stuff.
Yeah. Where Shaden's kind of seems like the opposite, but still, it's going to be a situation just not to read too much into pre-draft interviews. And I mean, that's the thing. He knows how to play basketball. Okay, he doesn't get paid to give interviews in front of 20 people. He gets paid to put a ball in a circle and dribble it and pass it, and not let the other team put the ball in the freaking circle. All right, that's what he gets paid to do. So sometimes it just comes naturally to guys. And he just seems like the guy who's just a natural hooper, as they might say.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't think this is that crazy to say, but, I mean, there is a somewhat realistic chance if Sharp is him and is like good relatively quickly, and Ant's stretch from last year isn't a fluke, and if you want to include Nas in this as well as taking a jump, I mean, that's three. What, the oldest one is 22 or 23 out of those guys. That's 3 players that could be like, Nas might not be like star level, but Ant and Sharp definitely could. There's a chance that group is like really freaking good in 3 to 4 years. And as we've talked about before, as Dame ages, if he has a team like Phoenix, who had a bunch of young guys too, and who all developed together and then popped once they got CP on that team. I mean, Dame's already on the team, so if he has, 3 young guys who pop, and that's not even counting all the rest of the players on the team that are pretty good as well, that's it's pretty crazy to think about the ceiling being like off the charts for this team if certain guys develop and become stars or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, man, is people complain about the position we're in, but we have a superstar and, in my opinion, a top 10 player. And he's loyal, and he wants to be here, and he's a great leader. Okay? That's already better than a lot of teams have, right? And the teams that do have, guys are worried, like, oh, is he going to leave for somewhere else next time he's a free agent, right? You then have this young core that's fun, and you have some good vets on this team. Like, there's a lot of situations that are worse than ours, and people like say, oh, just stuck in the middle and stuck in mediocrity and all this type of stuff. But, I mean, we've had good moments. Not every team makes the finals. We've made a conference finals. We have 2 series-winning buzzer beaters under Dame. Like, it hasn't been as bad as people make it out to be. It's just the people that it's like, we need a championship or else everything sucks. It's those type of people that aren't satisfied because it's championship or bust, which obviously we all want a championship, and if you can't enjoy other things, I don't know how you're even a Blazer fan. Like, I don't know how you get enough enjoyment being a Blazer fan if you can't enjoy the storylines, the development of young pieces like that, watching Dame be Dame, and that sort of thing. So with with this young core, it's a lot of excitement. Now, we can't bet on everyone panning out.
I just named 2.5, 3.
No, I know.
There's others I didn't mention.
Yeah. Like, there's a good young group, and some of them will pan out, some of them probably won't. But if all of them pan out, then you're looking at a team that could be contending for championships without Dame 7-8 years from now. Mm-hmm. Like, if fans, Ant, I think, might have the ability to be a borderline top 10 guard or a top 10 player next or someday. Like, can he be Dame 2.0 long term? I can't say that he can't. It's not likely that he's ever as good as Dame is, but I mean, Ant's pretty damn skilled, man. So, and he's had the right mentor. And then Sharp's upside is off the charts. You got two guys that have a chance. All world, yeah. You have 2 guys that have a chance at being like at least borderline top 10 players someday. That's not likely. I wouldn't necessarily bet on either one becoming a borderline top 10 player, but it's nice to have a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. So, if Sharp is ready to play right away, let's just say he's ready to give you 20 minutes a game. What do you do? Do you just find minutes for him, worry about that later, or do you, first chance you have, I know some of the guys aren't eligible to be traded till December or January, depending on the player, but do you eventually maybe make room for him by moving someone else elsewhere that you're worried about keeping past this year, or what do you do?
This is exactly why I questioned us signing Gary Payton II. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with the GP2 signing because it addressed the defensive need, but it's like we don't have much big man depth, and you go out and you sign another wing, a 5th wing that's probably ahead of Shane Sharp because you got Nas, you got Hart, you got GP2, you got Dame, and you got Ant. So your top 2 players also are going to, like, one of them's going to be playing 24 minutes a game at a shooting guard position. Right? So then it's like the other 24 minutes and then 48 minutes at the small forward position for 3 guys. If they each play 24 minutes a game, you have no minutes left. If Hart plays 28, Nas plays 24, GP2 plays 20, you have no minutes left at the point guard, shooting guard, or small forward position. So it's like, when we made the signing, I said it would be easier if Nas was the backup 4, because then you'd open up more minutes at the 3. Or the 2, like, you take his minutes out of that equation, you could give them to Shane Sharp. But the problem is, it sounds like Nas is going to start. So, but that's exactly why we questioned the Gary Payton II signing instead of addressing big man depth, and people were mad at us and acting like we were insane, and now those same people are so excited about Sharp. It's like, okay, well, if you're this excited, wouldn't you want him to play? But there's a logjam that's even more pronounced if he is that guy. So what do you do? I don't know, Eric, to answer your question. I don't know. What do you do?
like people were mentioning in chat, I think it's a good problem to have finally that we have the depth. We thought we were going to have pretty good depth last year. It didn't work out, so maybe it plays itself out with players, not panning out or whatever. I have a hard time believing that Hart would be that guy. I mean, it's possible that Nas, doesn't take a jump and is just more of a role player. Hopefully that's not the case. I don't think it will be, but it certainly isn't out of the realm of possibilities. But
even if he takes that jump, Eric, like if there's a star available at the deadline and like an upgrade, even if Nas takes that jump, if there's an upgrade available that you can turn like Nas and Hart into that upgrade and then open up minutes for Sharp.
But what position are you trading for? Are you upgrading center then?
A three. Or even, I mean, well, if it's like a center, then obviously it'd be like Nas plus Nurkic, and then you clear up minutes, you take Hart's minutes, give them to Sharp, and then you replace Nurkic with the center. So, like, that's the thing is, if he develops, even if Nas breaks out, if there's like a star that becomes available at like the center position or the small forward position, then maybe Nas is a good enough asset to make a package around that, and then you clear up the log jam at the perimeter spots. Which fans aren't going to want to do that, but I mean that's the thing. If Nas pops, then all of a sudden he's an asset that maybe you could turn into like a legitimate star.
Yeah.
Which Nas can pop and not be a legitimate star. Like if Nas averages like 16 a game as a starter and plays good on ball defense, like that's him popping to me.
But maybe that's, I don't know. Sometimes that's better to have a player that's more like that than adding another star to a team that would then have possibly 3 stars and several good players,
And that could be the conversation. It could all of a sudden be, for the first time in our channel's history, like, we have assets to trade for a star. Like, we have all these young pieces and they look really good and we have so many of them, like, we need to actually clear up some space. So how do we consolidate in a way that makes sense for now, for the future, and makes sense from a cohesion standpoint with the lineup? Because it's good to have role players. That's also why I think it's hard to trade Josh Hart, because he can play different roles well. Like, he can just fit in any lineup.
Right. I know people don't like to talk about this, but this is exactly why it did not matter who we signed for more than the tax mid-level exception. It only mattered what position they played and that we got hard capped, right? Mm-hmm. And because it was a guard, whether we signed, I don't know, I'm blanking on a better guard that was available in the offseason, but let's just say like we signed Kyrie Irving to $8 million. You know what I mean? Like, we'd have the same problems if whatever guard we signed. It would just be tough to find minutes for everyone. And we hard capped ourselves to do that after just drafting a guy that everyone was saying was going to be possibly looked back on as the best player of this draft. So it just was that. This is where like the whole balancing of the roster and knowing the salary cap and all that kind of stuff will come into play, because here's what Cronin has to consider. We got Jeremy Grant on the last year of his deal. Now, I've heard that he has already agreed to it. Cronin mentioned this on Media Day that he can't talk about that for 6 months, like per CBA rules. But they wouldn't have made that trade without some sort of understanding on the parameters of a contract extension being in place. So that could solve itself out before this year is over. You got something on the screen there.
No, I'm gonna bring up photo. Why is it like that, bro? I was trying to do it in like a separate window. I want to bring up Photoshop and like actually like go over potential rotations. So I was trying to set that up while you talked, and it popped up for some reason.
So, but let's just say there's a scenario where maybe they change their mind and don't offer Jeremy Grant the extension, or he doesn't sign the extension. I mean, you have to consider you could lose him for nothing after the season. Josh Hart has an opt-out now because he had this weird contract where if we accepted his contract for this year, then he gets a player option for next year. But I think it's like a mutual thing where we also have an option. I don't know. But anyways, he could walk for nothing at the end of the season. So it might not even be that they want to get rid of Josh Hart, but that's why his name keeps coming up in conversations, because potentially he could leave for nothing. And then Nas is in the last year of his rookie deal. Now he'll be a restricted free agent, so we can match any offers, but there is that potential where he could sign a huge contract somewhere, and then what do? Do you match if he signs for like 4 years, $80 million somewhere, or if he's playing well this season? So maybe it's like the Gary Trent situation where you just be preemptive and trade him at the deadline. So I hope that none of that stuff pans out, because I like all three of those guys and I hope they're here long term. But that definitely will be a factor if there's crunch for minutes and who stays and who goes, because Sharp is now locked up for 4 years. We signed Gary Payton for 2 years with an option for a third year, so he's most likely going to be here for 3 years. Dame is locked up long term. Ant now is locked up for 4 years. Nurk is locked up for 4 years. Jabari Walker is locked up for 3 years. Trendon, I think, still is locked up for 3 years. So there's not a lot of other players that you have to worry about leaving. So we need to keep that in mind when we're talking about moves and things like that. It might not come down to who's the best player or who's the best fit or whatever. It might just come down to who they feel like they can re-sign for the best value in the offseason versus who they can.
Yeah. I mean, I think long-term, Shane Sharp's the starting three. I think 2 to 3 years from now, Shane Sharp's the starting three. Like, Nas is going to have to really, really pop to hold down that. But, I mean, if Nas and Sharp pop, do you start Sharp at the 3 in a couple years and move Nas to the 4? And then what do you do with Grant? Like, it's going to be interesting to see how things play itself out. This is why I'm so fascinated by our roster construction moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, people sleep on Shane Sharp's defense. People don't give his defensive potential enough credit. He can be one of the best, like, help side rim protecting guard/wings in the league. Maybe the best. Like, that dude, that's the most impressive part about his defense and the tape that I was able to see, is he is actually rotating pretty quick from the help side. But dude, even in Summer League, even though he barely played, and I know it was a goaltend, do you remember that block he just, like, took, like, his head's at the rim, and I don't even know if that hit the backboard. If it did, it barely hit the backboard. The dude was guarding the quarter, and in, like, a split second, was on the other side of the rim, like, head above, like, head at, maybe even slightly above the rim, like, blocking a ball that's at the top of the square.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just, and that's his athleticism. Like, he's just such an athletic freak that he'll be able to make plays like that. So it's like we talk about, oh, if you're going to play an aggressive defense, especially with the center up above the point of the screen, then you need guys behind that can help protect the rim a little bit if there's a breakdown. If you have Shane Sharp at a 3, and people say, oh, he's undersized for the 3, dude. Like, he's fine for the 3. He has an 8'7.5" standing reach, which is average for a small forward. He's 6'5" with a almost 7-foot wingspan. He is absolutely big enough for the small forward position, and he'll be able to make plays and even get rebounds, I think, just with his athleticism that guys his size normally wouldn't get.
Yeah, I think when it comes to a player like Sharp, who's so gifted offensively, I think it's hard to imagine them becoming like a lockdown defender, because there's not a whole lot of players who are like elite offensively that are also elite defensively. And I feel like we already have a couple of perimeter offensive players in Dame and Ant that potentially could be elite, or Dame's already elite, obviously, but yeah. Both of them could potentially be an elite combo on offense without the defense. So, like, if if Sharp becomes like a defensive stopper, sure, yeah, that it would be awesome and great. But like, it's hard to imagine another person who's mostly touted as offensive skills having enough energy and effort on defense to become like the team's best defender instead of just, oh, we have three amazing scorers in that situation. And I hope that's the case. Like, I hope you're right, Tori, and there's certainly a possibility that's correct, because I mean, outside of that film you said you watched, like, there's not much film to watch of him, so it's hard to know for sure. But it is pretty, it's hard to grasp your head around like someone who would be elite on both ends of the court like that. You know, like Kawhi, he was good offensively for a long time, but it did take a while for him to become like more towards elite on offense. And so yeah, it's hard to imagine that we'd be talking about him like as a Kawhi type player if he does excel at both ends on that like that.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I just think like people don't think he has the potential to be a lockdown defender. I think he has the potential to be just physically a lockdown defender. It's just all going to come down to, can he be one mentally, and does he have the motor, and is he committed to that end? Like, that's all the questions that go into it, where, you know, I don't necessarily trust him to become a lockdown defender or anything, but physically and athletically, there is absolutely nothing to me that suggests that he can't. If he does everything else and can mentally, like, be that type of guy, there's nothing that suggests that he can't. Because his frame is perfect. Like, he looks like he'll be able to put on muscle mass, right? He needs to get a little stronger in his lower body. But, like, you look at his frame, I think he'll put on muscle. I think he'll be strong enough. Athletically, like, he has some great shot contests just with his wingspan and his athleticism. And he's a quick jumper, too. And then he's very light on his feet. Like, he just glides. Like, you want, like, lockdown defenders, they're light on their feet. They move their feet quick. And that's how they're able to stay in front of guys. Mm-hmm. And then they have long wingspan that know how to pester the ball, and then they'll make off-ball plays such as rotating over and protecting the rim and that sort of thing. I mean, athletically and physically, there's nothing that suggests he can't become a top-notch defender. Now, he probably has a ways to go, and he might need to get a little bit quicker laterally, but he's light on his feet, man. Like, yeah. It can't go understated. He's lighter on his feet than even Ant and Damar. In my opinion. I don't necessarily put guys like that in this category, but the person I always come up with is Aaron Gordon, who, of course, we've been bashing on for years, right? But he's like a solid defender. But he's only a solid defender because he's athletically gifted, like you just mentioned about Shaedon Sharpe, right? And he's quick on his feet. He can recover quick enough. He has long arms so he can contest shots. But I've never seen him like actually make smart like decisions on defense and use his basketball IQ to become an even better defender combined with those athletic skills. Yeah. So it's tough because there's a lot of players that you could make the case have those athletic gifts and never really become a defender. But if you have the mindset to become a defender, there's nothing stopping anyone, including Sharpe, from being that guy. Like all those players, you know, they're established, you know, we know what they are on the defensive end. So they no longer have, like, I wouldn't look at Aaron Gordon if we got him and say, oh, he has the potential to be a elite defensive player, because he's kind of shown what he is. But, like, athletically and physically, he was capable of being one. It's just, you know, there's a lot of other things that go into it. So that's the thing. With Sharpe, we don't know that he can't develop the other traits and the other things that go into being a very high-level defender. When you look at the guys coming into the league that are very young, it's just physically and athletically, can they be that type of guy? And then if they show some of the other traits, you know, some of the IQ things, then you can put more stock in them becoming that type of defender. But in terms of just, does he have the potential, like, can or can't he be? like, I feel like a lot of people just think he can't be a really good defensive player, and I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to, because you don't really know his mindset, and this is the trap that almost every young player gets into, is they, especially if they start having success on the offensive end, they see that as their, there's more highlights of that shown. There's more people asking how many points per game you had, not how many screens you blew up on the defensive end, So, yeah, it just comes down to the effort and mindset and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why I'm confident with Chauncey coaching him, and that's why I'm confident, like, if we are able to build a more defensive culture, that it'll be more so, like, he'll commit to that end than we've seen guys in the past where they're almost excused because they score the ball.
Yeah.
And there's no defensive culture, right? So that's where the optimism comes in. And having a guy like Gary Payton II over the next couple of years, I mean, dude, like, Gary Payton II isn't more athletically gifted than Shaden Sharp. Mm-hmm. And Gary Payton II's 6'2" and, like, doesn't have the best, I don't know what his wingspan is, but it's not 7 feet. So it's like, dude, if he can get it done against, like, anyone out there and he can make plays like that, why? He's a great mentor to have for Shade Sharp, Like, I'm not saying Shade Sharp's going to be Gary Payton II or anything, but it's like, teach him some of the tricks, teach him some of the mental stuff, because that's the thing, is, like, Gary Payton II gives great effort and can, like, lead by example, but then also he's just so extremely smart defensively, and there's a lot of little tricks that he has that he can pass on to a guy like Shaden Sharp. So that's a good mentor to have on the defensive end, in my opinion. That's why I'm fine with the Gary Payton II signing, even though it creates a little bit of a logjam. We needed a defensive player like that, and he'll be a good defensive mentor and help us further establish a defensive culture.
But that's also a guy who had to basically become a good defender to stay in the league, whereas if he would have been much more gifted offensively, would he have develop those defensive traits? Like, that's always my concern, is that when you're good, when you're good on both ends, I don't know how good you can be as a defender. I think they're kind of limited. I mean, not limited
from
like
an energy standpoint.
Way,
like, you expend a lot of energy on offense, and you don't have as much for defense. You know what I mean? And if you're trying to play 36 minutes every night because you are that guy on offense, then you have, that's why Dame's defense suffers a lot of times, I think. But that's the thing. It's like, if you have more depth, you can play guys less minutes, hold them more accountable on that end, and they can get tired because you'll have more rest because you have the depth to replace them. So That's the thing, is I think it just comes down to, A, how bad does he want it? B, is he, like, mentally capable of picking up some of the more advanced things and being able to recognize things at that ultra high level? And then I think if he's able to put in the work and he's capable with everything that's around him, he will be a good defender. So that's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me pull this up. So you asked this question earlier. Dude, why is Photoshop's tripping? I might have to do this differently. Like, it won't even show. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I think I gotta set up a screen capture. And then we're gonna look at rotation stuff. So give me a second. Let me set up the screen capture. And then, yeah. Okay. Let me zoom it in, actually. Hold on. Let me zoom this. There's an easier way to do this without putting it up on the screen. Or maybe there's not.
Yeah. Mute that. Bozo says, I think we have a better bench now, so why not let Dame rest here and then here and there so he has enough left in the tank to play some D. That was kind of, I think that was last stream where we got into that pretty in depth.
Yeah, so that's what I want to do too, is like look at, Dame if he plays 32 minutes, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Is it up? Hopefully it's up. Let me know if it's up. If we're good.
It's up. Yep.
I don't know why we have Kem Birch here. I think this was before. Oh, this was before. I don't know. I was looking at what if we had OG Anunoby as well. I don't know what this is from. But move my mic. All right. So, Dame, Simons, Nas, Grant, Nurkic. All right. Simons back up there. Should I put Hart as the... I'll put Peyton as the backup too. Just G Peyton. Josh Hart. All right, so if you want to give... So what was your question earlier that you asked, Eric?
I don't really remember.
Oh, man. So, like, how do we get GP, Hart, and Sharp minutes? Right?
If let's just say Hart or Sharp is ready to go day one, and you have to put him on the floor.
All right. So, how many minutes do you think for Nas? Just like assuming he basically meets expectations.
Let's just, instead of doing it that way, let's just say we'd probably have to give him 24 at the most if we're going to get minutes for someone else, right? So let's try 24.
For Nas?
Yeah.
All right. 24.
And then maybe move Grant's down to like 30.
Grant's to 30 so that we can give Winslow 18, or you want to play Nas at some backup 4? I think you probably have to play Nas at some backup 4. So it'd have to be like...
Maybe Nas 20 minutes then there.
I'm thinking 18 and 6.
18 and 6, yeah, that works.
And then...
Well, there's not.
Yeah, I thought I set this up with a third minutes thing, but we can just do it like this. There we go. Nas 6 there, so that'd leave 12 for Winslow, unless you played Grant some backup 5. But this is the exercise we did on a stream, if you guys missed it, where it's like, if Sharp is really that guy, it forces us to play smaller. Like, you try and clear some minutes at the 4 for Nas, and to do that, you maybe play Grant more at a 5 spot. But, alright, here we go. We got Nas 18. Simons, I think, all backup point guard minutes. So I'm thinking 33 for Dame, 32 for Simons?
I think, let's put, because they talked about this a lot of media days, so let's just assume it's going to happen and make Grant, play 10 minutes at backup center. Or 8, how about 8? And we'll give Watford 12.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hurry up, Photoshop. All right. So, Watford 12. See, I had some minutes in my... it was either my projected rotation or my preferred rotation, and I had Grant playing some backup center minutes, 6 or something like that, and somebody went into my comment section he's not going to play backup center.
What?
There's no way he can't play backup center.
Well, I didn't think he could either, but it sounds like that's definitely something they're going to try.
If with a bench lineup, I think it's fine, just as long as you have enough rebounding around him. Or if he improves as a rebounder.
So then change his starter minutes to 22 then.
I feel like they'll play him a little bit more. 24, 32 minutes a game.
Well, we're trying to find minutes for players, though. We have to make some cuts.
But it's at a power forward spot. So what? You're giving Nas?
So maybe Nas. Out of his 24 minutes now, he's playing 14 minutes at the power forward and 10 at small forward.
But he's starting at small forward.
Yeah. So he starts the first 5 minutes
and
of
gets
each half.
taken out after 5 minutes, and then doesn't play there again for the half. Is how it'd have to work.
Yeah, or the second unit comes in with all the guards and then he moves over to power forward.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so then...
Simons playing 32 minutes total, you think is reasonable, or would you do less?
No, I think it's pretty clear that he's thought of as their second best player, and he's going to... All right, so he's got 32.
So let me just tally up between the 2 and the 3. I think this will be the easiest way. How many minutes are left for Peyton, Hart, and Sharp? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have
Jingles.
27.
Later jingles.
Yeah, goodbye Ingles, man. All right, so 96 minus 27 is what? 69. Nice. So 69 divided by 3 leaves 23 minutes on average for those 3.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good. I think we solved it.
So I think
I think maybe you give Hart
26, 26, yeah.
and then Peyton 20 instead, and then you give Sharp 22 or 23, whatever that ends up being. Maybe you can go back and give Grant a few more minutes or something. Yeah.
Oh, I did not mean to move that. Yeah, I think that's the way you'd have to. Or you could even give Day more minutes, because 33 just feels still a little low to be bad.
But I mean, if Sharp is him, I mean, do we need Dave to play more than 33 minutes? I don't know.
Going raw. This is crazy. To rely on a rookie who didn't play in college that much in his rookie season. Like, if he's him, man. But
yeah,
still, it's just kind of we're a little bit worrying, man.
So who does this leave out? That's no Walker.
No Eubanks.
No Eubanks, which, yeah, that's fine.
You could mix match. Winslow's only playing 12 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like
and
that.
You know they love Winslow, so.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton could go down to like 15 minutes a game, or it might help if he's not ready to go right away. Hart could play a little less. Nurkic could get in foul trouble a lot. There's a few extra minutes there.
The only problem is, like, and I know it'll change, it's just like, in this scenario, Nas isn't projected to play with the finishing lineup.
Yeah.
If you give him 5 minutes at small forward to start each half.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe Nurkic doesn't play with the finishing lineup, and you go small ball, and Grant plays small ball 5 to end games, and Nas plays small ball 4. And then you have Hart, Peyton, or Sharp, whoever's playing the best at the 3. Mm-hmm. But you can only do that against some teams.
Right. Well, it's possible, like, Sharp, only plays closer to 15 minutes, and then you have 7 more minutes for Nas, and then Hart can play some of his minutes at the 2 instead. So I think there's a way. We had that comparison to Kobe his first year. He played 15 or 16 minutes a game.
Yeah. So it'll be easier to just split up the minutes like this if it's like, and then Sharp's just the backup 3. So what? 15. Let's do like. What? 15, 14. Okay, let's do 15 for Nas here. And then how much was Peyton playing? 20, you said?
I mean, it could even go lower than that. He played less than 20 minutes last year.
Yeah, let's just go. If you went 18, that would leave 15 minutes for Sharp at the 3. I don't know. The 2 and 3 are very interchangeable with the bench lineup. With the starting lineup, they're not, because Simon's is the 2. But with the bench lineup, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, Simon's
I still like
now.
20. Yeah, I still like 20, and then Sharp, you got for 12 here, and then you got for 3, and then Nas I'll do for 16.
Bouquet has asked Eubanks. I mean, if you want Eubanks to play, it basically means Watford can't play, so just switch him out for Watford. But
here to make
I don't know.
your backup center. There you go. It's Watford or Eubanks. So yeah, and then Hart, you give how many minutes could you give him here? You could give him 28 here, and if you wanted to play Dame and Ant a minute more apiece, you could give him 26.
Yep.
And then Ant would be like, what, 19 here? Yeah, 19 here. And then he'd be 14 here. And then Dame would be 34. Yeah. So this is honestly probably closer to what it will be, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
This would be my projection, and like honestly, you probably take Nas like down to 10, and then give Winslow 16.
Yeah.
Or you play Grant 32 minutes a game instead of 30 right now. But this is kind of close to what I think the rotation will be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that, chat? Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this. People, I mean, you even question this, like, am I down on Jabari Walker? No, I am not. But if Sharp earns minutes over him and is just clearly better than him and was obviously taken higher than him, if they play Winslow, it's hard to play Grant or Walker, I mean. So that's the problem with Winslow playing. So Walker would probably have to beat out Winslow or Nas, I guess, which I don't think is happening. So his only chance at playing time this season is either injury or beating out Winslow for that the backup power forward spot, which is certainly possible. But unfortunately for Walker, that's why I've kind of just tempered my expectations for him the first season, because I think he's still going to be really good, and I'm glad we have him. But I don't know how to make it work.
Yeah, but it's like a conversation. Like, what if Nas and Grant are really good? Dude, you could cut out Winslow here, and you still, like, you don't even have to play anybody extra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you maybe just give the backup center extra minutes. So it's like, say there's like 20 backup center minutes, maybe you split them amongst Eubanks and Watford, whatever, right? And I know they're talking about Grant being the backup, playing backup 5 minutes, but say that doesn't go well, but he's really good at the 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's 32 minutes a game for Nas and Grant, which isn't that crazy. And it could, like, you can cut Winslow out of the rotation, and still it's not a situation where anybody's playing like too many minutes. Mm-hmm. Except maybe the backup center spot. But like that's the thing, though, is you can always go back and cut Nas's minutes here at the starting small forward spot, give him minutes at the 4, and then move some of Grant's minutes to the backup 5. You can always do that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess theoretically they could play Winslow at the backup center.
Oh god! I mean, like, what with Nas at the 4 or Grant at the 4? Because that would probably be Grant. Like, I don't know. It's just so weird.
I don't know.
That's what's interesting, is how he's gonna manage this too. But yeah, like, say you want to give Grant 34 minutes a game, do it like that. Give him 6, and then backup center plays 14. Like, that's not crazy at all. 34 minutes a game for Grant is not crazy at all. 32 for Nas, if he pops, could be reasonable. And if you're playing Sharp, too, it's like Sharp 15, Hart 26, Peyton 20, Dame 34, which is less than he's gotten, Simons 33, which is very reasonable. Like, nobody's playing crazy amount of minutes. And you can always, move a minute or two around here, but that's the thing. It's like, you don't even necessarily need Winslow in the rotation, in my opinion. A lot of people like him, but... And I get why people like him, but given, like, his fit questions and that sort of thing, it's like, if there's some possessions where it's just kind of, the spacing's kind of bad or whatever, because he's out there and he's not cutting, he's spotting up, it's like, we don't have to play him.
Mm.
So. Chat, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in chat. I want to read off some comments in chat. And I just want to see what you guys think about this rotation. Would you, what would you change? That sort of thing. Obviously, players are going to get hurt, and that makes it easy. But you gotta have a base rotation, and then if a player gets hurt, you adjust that base rotation that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if players play well during the season, you're going to change your basic rotation, but I know they're going to play Winslow. I don't think they're going to play Winslow more than 20 minutes a game. I would be shocked. I think they're going to play him probably 15 to 18 minutes a game.
Until he starts and just messes this whole thing up.
Honestly, I don't really want I don't care if Winslow plays, man. A lot of people love him. That's cool. He's the 10th guy on this team. Maybe the 11th guy on this team. So, it's a good problem to have, though. I mean, on this team, there's only one player on a main roster contract that I would kind of cringe having in the game right now. Would you agree with that, Eric? One player?
Well, he's going to be because you can only dress 13, so he's going to be the one not dressing, so.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in case injuries and stuff happen.
Yeah.
But, in that chat, you guys know who that probably is. Everybody else, other than... I feel bad. I don't like talking bad about Greg Brown. I just won't... he's the only guy I don't trust in the game. Maybe I shouldn't trust Jabari Walker because he's a rookie, but... I don't know, man. I trust Jabari Walker.
Yeah, I do too. I wouldn't say it's necessarily that I don't trust Greg Brown. I just don't think he's... If we're good, I mean, if we're bad, I guess it doesn't matter. But if we're good, I don't think he's quite as ready as everyone else is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's just out of control. He's too out of control. That's something he needs to fix this year. He needs to find he just doesn't have a real strength on the offensive end yet. Yeah, I know he's a freak athlete lob target. How many times are you going to be able to, make that useful, though? Especially considering we don't throw as many lobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a true strength 3-point shooting ability can be, because every time down the floor you can space the floor with the threat of your 3-point shooting ability. Being a playmaker, you're gonna make more plays, and you need a playmaker to throw lobs, right? So that's the thing in terms of real offensive strengths: playmaking, shooting, ball handling, passing. Some of that kind of goes under playmaking, but shot creation, slashing ability, Greg Brown just doesn't have, none of those things are strengths yet. So hopefully they can become strengths, but he's the one guy on this roster, on the main roster, that I wouldn't trust in the game. But that's good, because in the past we've had more, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice. Honestly, I think we can deal with adversity. If injuries hit to a couple guys, I think we can deal with it, man. Keon supposedly looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Also, do you think he's going to be the third string point guard?
I mean, I think he will be the emergency third string point guard. I don't think he'll play at all, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but just in case, if Ant or Dame miss it, or go ahead, I'll let you ask.
I'm just saying, that's another thing, because Keon, to those who really like Keon, his strength going into the offseason was defensively, right? And projecting at least him to be a good defender. And his offensive game was still a work in progress. And he showed in Summer League that he had worked on his offensive game a lot and actually showed some capable moves, being able to break down a defense and create his own shot. And, then you hear Dame and several other people talking about how big of a leap he's made from last year and things like that. But they've been high on Keon. They obviously were high on him in that trade. But that also doesn't make sense for Gary Payton signing, because that's just another person that was the final nail in the Keon won't play department. So if you like Keon and you wonder why we never talk about him in these rotations, we're having a hard enough time finding minutes for their prized seventh pick in the draft, and another second round pick that they're super high on and who has seemingly played like a veteran so far. We have like no minutes for him. So like I don't understand how anyone thinks Keon's going to get in the rotation, no matter if you love him or hate him or anything in between.
Yeah, I mean, like with what we were showing, even if Dame missed a game, I mean, you could see Hart get 5 more minutes. You could see Peyton get like 8 more minutes. You could see Sharp get like 10 to 15 more minutes. And you could see Anthony Simons get a few more minutes. Even if like our highest minute player, our best player misses a game, honestly, like you could just play the other guys more and you're not overplaying them. You know what I mean? Like, but I think Keon would see a little run. I actually think if one of Dame Morant gets hurt, I think the other one plays 36 minutes a game. That's your point guard for 36 minutes a game. But then in those other 12 minutes, I think it's a situation where you play point guard by committee and you play a lineup with Keon, who like will bring the ball up, run some point guard. Josh Hart, who will bring the ball up, run some point guard. And then like you have another ball handler in terms of like a power forward, I guess, and Justice Winslow that'll probably play. And then maybe like you play Watford as your backup center who can also handle the ball a little bit more. So I think that would be the situation if you had to. I don't think Brandon Williams is going to play. Like if they need, if Dame Morant goes down, hopefully they don't, knock on wood, but I think it's a point guard by committee.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Anyway, do you want to read the Zach dono, Eric?
Zach with a $5 donation. Thank you, Zachary. Get hashtag the mod joke is now old trending on Twitter. Hashtag mod Wacklandia forever.
Unmad.
No.
Unmod.
I'm reading it, Tori. I know what I'm reading. It's like go Seahawks 05. I'm not gonna say unmod Wacklandia because yeah.
Oh, you're standing up. Gotcha.
Yes. Hashtag mod arrow Manser. Hashtag mod Taylor Packer. Hashtag mod Bonnie. Hashtag mod Trev. He's already a mod. Thank you though. Hashtag unmod never mod Beavis. Hashtag remod Reese. Hashtag mod pizza. Hashtag not sponsored. Thank you, Zach.
Man, Beavis doesn't even go into our streams anymore, but yes, I agree with that one for sure. And honestly, I'm hungry now. I've seen multiple people. Dude, what has been happening in chat? I haven't been paying much attention to chat today. Chat, you guys are on one. Thank you, Zach, for the $5 dono.
Yeah, they had
and
a
all
whole
the hashtags.
Hashtag mod off thing in chat going on earlier while you had the Photoshop up.
Yeah.
Shaggy
Chris is in here and he's still modded.
Shaggy Squid, what's up? He says this year will be spent to develop Keon off the court. Josh Hart can choose to leave this offseason. If he does, Keon will have an opportunity next season for a bigger role. I mean, that may be true, but we still have theoretically Dame, Ant, Nas, Sharp, Peyton. I mean, that's still 5 guys. Yeah. At the 2 and the 3.
I also don't think Keon will be Josh Hart caliber for at least a couple more seasons.
Bonnie says, thank you, Zach. Hashtag you the best. Another one.
Somebody clipped that. just Eric going full DJ Khaled.
I didn't shout your name or my name.
Is Pineapples, you still in here? No? I told him I'd give him some life advice tonight at the end of the stream because he was dealing... Apparently, she tripping, quote unquote, so... Anyway, hopefully he's not playing it. Or hopefully whoever she is doesn't know his username.
See, Tori... You corrected me so that I had to say I know what it says, and now Zach has a clip of me saying on mod Wacklandia.
Let's go. I got you, Zach.
You want to on mod Zach?
No, I just Zach wanted you to say it.
No.
Zach, I can unmod you right now if you want.
No.
No.
I'm putting my foot down. Even if Zach never shows up for streams anymore, he's pretty much an OG. For as long as I've been with Blazers Uprise, back when he was Westbrick. And
yeah. So chat, Zach is our mod. His name for the longest time was Russell. First round exit Westbrick. We called him Westbrick for like a year and a half.
Yeah, I didn't even know his first name. I didn't even know his name for a long time.
I had it on the graphic. It said Westbrick.
Yeah.
If you go back to picks against the spread from previous years. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to picks against the spread this year, by the way. Defend my crown.
Second place.
Defend my crown.
Second place.
My crown. My crown. Anyway, I had the most games right per person participating, Eric.
It's too bad you have that double down then.
No, so this year, all right, I'm making it official right now for picks against the spread. It'll be highest pick percentage. Okay, that'll be the tiebreaker.
So it matters. Couldn't you make an argument it should be best double down?
Why would it be best double down?
Because that's your most confident pick.
Yeah, but like, why would you make that the tiebreaker? I don't get it.
Because that's your most confident.
Like, you picked a higher percentage of games right all year long. You picked more games right all year long. The double downs are fun, but if it's a tie, then it should just be whoever picked the most games right all year long. Bonnie says I'm making it official. Whatever makes Tori win is the rule. Honestly, I could lose off of it this year. That's what I think, right, chat? That makes the most sense. Chat, if you don't know what we're talking about, by the way, on Blazers Uprise Live during the season, we start at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we start off with picks against the spread. 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we start off with picks against the spread, and we pick that day's games. I have graphics for it and everything, and chat also gets to pick. All right, me and chat tied last year. I said highest pick percentage the winner. We never broke the tie, so now it's this year's the tiebreaker, I guess. All right, between me and you guys, because you guys went try hard to end the season. But we do chat polls because we got this polling feature. So we do chat polls, and you guys get to vote on your picks, and all our mods get a pick, and Derek gets a pick, and I get a pick. So it's a ton of fun. Unfortunately, Krish won't be back to defend his crown. He just said he just doesn't have the time, so his crown of being, what, last?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Krish can't go from worst to first. He's going from worst to gone. Jackson. Highest pick percentage. See, honestly, people that don't care about picks will literally vote the opposite just to spite me at this point. Ty should default to Chet. You guys got so much more brain power than I do. Collectively. Alright? Barely.
Clip that too, Zach.
Last place should be removed every year. Yeah, last place loses their mod spot. Zach would try and tank and would accidentally win.
Gambling on games does not necessarily make you a good or bad mod.
Who said that?
I'm just saying, like, it's not.
Oh.
We could have, like, our best mod be removed from.
Oh, gotcha.
Shit,
Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking about it differently. I was like, well, I'm probably going to have a sports book sponsor this year, so if somebody in chat is saying it's bad to bet.
No, I'm saying, like, just because one of our mods is horrible at picking games doesn't mean they're a bad mod and deserve to be. Yeah. That was
I guess you could say that. But
I mean, there definitely should be some sort of punishment if you're last.
I agree.
And there should also be a punishment if you have the cringiest joke of all time that when you're in last place, you're tanking for next year or whatever, because that is way overused and not funny anymore. So Hashtag don't ever use that again.
Okay, so is Trevin in here? Trevin is in here. All right, Trevin, if he finished last, we have to hear him talk.
He still wouldn't do that.
Trevin, do you agree to like face call us on stream and talk on stream if you finish last? Actually, I'm gonna make you do that, all right? That's Trevin's punishment. We'll figure out the rest later. So chat, Trevin, we've gamed with them a lot. He's never talked to us. He always stays muted. And he's gamed with us a lot, so it doesn't really make sense to me. And apparently somebody's heard his voice and says it's normal, but we constantly give him crap for it, and we say he's a robot because he legitimately won't talk. So that's Trevin's punishment. All right, Trevin? That's your punishment if you finish last. You better step up this year. Wait, what? Why are you saying wait what like your romp with a thumbnail? Anyway, anything else you want to talk about here?
I have a question for Trevin.
Okay.
If it works out with your schedule, would you ever go to a Blazer game with me?
Can you have like a secret recorder?
I mean, I won't record him. I'll just want to meet him and.
That's not
like,
fair. I want to hear what he sounds like. I'll make sure to go to the game.
Are you that opposed? Yeah, I'm asking Trevin on a date. Yep.
Nicholas Sam says, still curious about your guys' opinion on sport and logically ranking. I don't know what ranking you're talking about. But that dude's always sleeping on us.
He had the Blazers 11th, but that guy hates the Blazers.
In the West?
Yeah. Well,
Dog.
ESPN had their 537 prediction model today. They had the Warriors 7th, winning like 41 games or something. And it had us at 10th, winning 36 games.
I mean, that model was just terrible.
Yeah.
So who do you have us below that was 10th?
I'm guessing it was the Kings, yeah.
The Kings?
Yeah.
The Kings.
Yep.
That I used to watch that dude. I'm disappointed because, like, I swear, man, like, his opinions have just gotten worse. And he's not old enough to be regressing. Like, he's not 36. I think he's, like, 27. He should be in his prime right now. But he's always sleeping. He's always sleeping on Portland, man. People are always sleeping on us. I don't know how we're freaking 11th.
I mean, I don't know why anyone gets worked up over it at this point.
I usually don't care, but I used to watch him, man. It just frustrates, makes me sad.
What I'd say right now is we talked about this a few streams ago. Bet the over on Portland, take the easy money, and that's our start of our gambling addiction for all of us because we're all going to win money on this year.
And also bet on Orlando for the over too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that too. And then who's the other team we agreed on?
Cleveland, I think.
Cleveland, yeah. 2 out of those 3 are gonna hit at least. Charles Barkley guarantee it. Anything else you want to talk about?
You don't want me to break down that trade from today?
Yeah. So there was a trade today that's just like a 2K auto-generated trade that just on the surface makes no sense. Eric, can you make it make sense?
Well, first, there was a trade a couple days ago where Mo Harkless and I want to say a couple second-round picks got traded to OKC for who was it? Vit Krejci. So they had Mo Harkless, but they got him with the disabled player exception that they got for Chet Holmgren. And when you use that exception, fun rule, you can skip the aggregation for 60-day rule or whatever. So anyways, it took Atlanta out of the luxury tax, so that's why they did it.
Yeah.
And but it left OKC.
Wait, Atlanta? It was Houston at OKC. Oh, Atlanta traded Harkless to OKC, to get out of tax. Okay.
But the Thunder were then either in the tax or really close to the tax with 18 guaranteed contracts. And this trade, they went from like Favors, who's making around 10 million, and several other players. It was a 4-for-4 trade, and there was a second round pick going to Houston. But basically, OKC took a bunch of guaranteed money and traded it for also guaranteed money, but a little less guaranteed money, so that when they waived the 3 players, most likely from this trade, they'll be like 10 million under the luxury tax instead of right up against it. So, and then they created a couple of small trade exceptions as well.
Got you.
So yeah, it was like a nerdy just cap thing for both teams. And
I see like a second round pick and 8 players. Like, what the hell am I looking at?
And
it's nobody worthwhile.
I'm pretty sure almost all of the 8 players will be cut from this because Houston also is way over the 15-player mark. They don't have to make that decision quite yet, but I think they've already cut Mo Harkless and I forgot who the other person they got that they cut already.
I wouldn't hate Derek Favors for big man depth.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of at the tail end of his career. I think Eubanks is probably just as good as him by now. But
I feel like Favors a little bigger though, right? I'm not even saying you play him ahead of Eubanks, but it's like if Nurkic gets hurt, I mean.
Oh yeah, it was Ty Jerome. Thanks, Chris. Ty Jerome is the other one who.
I forget he's still in the league.
It's already rumors that he's been waived already. Maledon had a non-guaranteed contract, I think, so I don't know if they had to guarantee it to make the money work. My guess is no. So my guess is that, therefore, Maledon will be cut by Houston as well.
He's probably going overseas.
There's a guy, though, that I would much rather have than Brandon Williams, who was also traded today, Tori.
I saw that. That made no sense either.
I still...
Nothing makes sense today, guys.
So,
I'm lost.
The Blazers don't have a G League team, so, like, I don't really understand the rules of the G League draft and trading and stuff when it comes to the CBA of the G League, but I was pretty confident when Brandon Williams signed a 2-year, 2-way contract with Portland, it renounced his rights to whatever team he was on before because he's on our roster, but somehow the rights, if he goes back to the G League or we cut him, are now on a different team.
Oh, wait, that was actually our Brandon Williams?
Yeah, apparently. So when you have... I guess when you have a player called up, you retain their rights if they ever go back to the G League. So, yeah. So apparently, if we cut Brandon Williams, he would, if he played in the G League, he could only go to this whatever team he got traded to today. He was traded from the Westchester Knicks to the Skyhawks or something. I don't even know.
Was that the team that gave up a first-round G League draft pick?
Yes.
The team that got Brandon Williams or traded Brandon Williams?
The team that got Brandon Williams got a first-round draft pick. So it was basically the rights to Daquan Jeffries for the rights to Brandon Williams and a first-round pick. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on.
It makes no sense.
I was like, is there another Brandon Williams?
I just assumed there was another Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
Well, congrats to Brandon Williams on getting traded today, I guess. What? Dude, just go with the baseball minor league system, please. We've talked about this on a previous stream. And just make it make sense. It shouldn't be hard.
So yeah, I don't even know what's going on. How do you trade a player that's on contract on another team? And is it only because we don't have a G League team? Like if we did with his rights be in Portland, then I'm so confused.
You know it's ridiculous if it confuses
But-
both of us.
But I mean, let me just say, if Brandon Williams wants to go play for the Skyhawks, and then we can sign Teo Maledon instead, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'd be
And
okay with that too.
Mike Schmitz last year had a lot of nice things to say about him. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Then we could have Sarr and Maledon, two OKC prospects from last year, as our two ways. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that for sure. But earlier you said 4 for 4, and now I'm thinking about Wendy's, and it closes in 23 minutes. So.
Oh, nice.
Good advertisement for them, Eric.
Yeah, Zach, you're a guy. Whatever, Zach. Still, I'll be salty about that for the rest of my life. Or I fooled you, so you take the worst player.
Yeah.
Anyways, based on my Twitter notifications, TJ Malcolm, man, I know you're probably watching this because of what you're saying to me right now. Can you please just stop, man? I don't want to have to block you or mute you, but you're so annoying with the Dame hate, and it's out of control, man. And just please stop tagging me or talking to me about it. Like it's just, I mean, we get it. You hate Dame, you want him gone. Stop talking to us about it. I do not want to hear it. I don't care to read your tweets if all you're gonna do is bash Dame nonstop all the freaking time, dude. Like, just go away, man.
I block people quicker than that,
Yeah.
and then those are the type of people like, why did he block me? He just can't handle that I don't think the same as him. It's like, because he's just being annoying, bro. Like,
Dame.
so I think that's been one of those guys that have complained about me blocking. I'm like, dude, if I don't want to see your tweets and you're constantly like tweeting some crap that I think is annoying, yeah, I'm gonna block you. It's not even personal. I can block you and it not be personal. Evan Turner still has me blocked. I don't think Evan Turner knows who the hell I am.
It's fine. Like, we get it. You think trading Dame is the best thing for the franchise, but you know that Tori and I feel the complete opposite. You're never going to change our mind. Dame is my favorite player. He has a lifetime pass from me. I don't care.
We can't even trade him right now.
We can't even trade him right now. I am not going to even entertain trading Dame ever. So it's just a lost cause. It's pointless stuff. So it's like Tori said, it's no offense or nothing personal. Just, you're never going to change my mind when it comes to that.
Yep. Anyway, that's funny.
I just checked my Twitter notifications to see because I was asking someone about that thing, that G League thing, and yeah, I just saw.
Yeah. My notifications are very chill right now, man. I like it. I like Twitter being chill for me, alright? So if you make Twitter not chill for me, I might block you. I don't even have to have a reason. I'm tired of people on Twitter. You're gonna get me ranting about Twitter, but I need to eat Wendy's. I'm tired of people on Twitter that act like you have to have a full reason. Dude, I can block anyone I want to for any reason I want to, or I can block you for absolutely no reason at all. Like, who cares? It's Twitter. I just, like, people take that so seriously, and it's so weird to me. Like, why does it matter? If you're cool to me, you're just not, I mean, like, I'm not just gonna block anybody for no reason, but I can. It's like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the mental because I'm hungry. I don't have the mental capacity to rant more about Twitter. So, anything else you want to say, Eric?
No, thanks everyone for watching, and hopefully Tori and I'll be able to watch the game illegally on Monday, and we can have a post-game show as our stream on Monday. And there we go.
We'll figure it out. Just stay tuned. Join our Discord. Follow us on Twitter if you're not blocked, and you'll know when we do that.
Hope everyone has a good weekend.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, have a good weekend. Enjoy your final days of the offseason before Blazer basketball is upon us, kind of, because it's hard to watch. Oh, I'm tired of this Root Sports debacle, but we'll have you covered with post-game streams and then regular season streams when that kicks off, and videos. I'm dropping a Trent Watford video in the next 30 minutes to an hour, so stay tuned for that, and then I will wrap those up on October 1st. Gave me an extra day, so just stay tuned for those as well. Player previews over on the main channel. With that being said, that's a wrap for this episode of Blazers Uprise Live. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.